In this video, I'm visiting Bill Richardson Transport World. It's quite a big building. Let's go and see what's inside. So we'll start with a Lotus Cortina, quite eye-catching, and this is a fairly new hall. I think this has only been open a few years. It's all very glam. It's called Bill's Shed, and this is Bill Richardson himself. He sadly passed away in 2005, but yeah, built up both his own transport company from the age of 20 and this collection of vehicles. So let's. There are petrol pumps everywhere. There might be a typewriter or two. We shall have a look. Now, this room is being prepared for a Christmas meal later on, so there wouldn't normally be quite so many tables and chairs. But I do like the hubcap Christmas tree. That's quite funky. And if we walk past this noisy blower, we've got the absolute star of the collection, really. This Dodge RX-70 Texaco tanker. And an absolutely remarkable vehicle. It was one of Bill's favourites. Just remarkable Art Deco styling on the thing. And the impressive thing is, this runs. This is a driver. One of the things I like about this collection is most of the vehicles are in, they might not necessarily be road legal at the moment, they are operational. And that's generally how they like it. So this is a collection of early Fords. Not that one, that's a Stewart. So Model A here. From 1904, so that was pretty much Ford's first vehicle. Got Model C, Model F, Model N. They're missing a Model B. Apparently they would like a Model B. They haven't yet been able to acquire one. And here we go, the famous Model T in various forms. Doctor's Coupe there, an earlier one at the end. And we've got a range of Fords over that side as well. Slightly later ones up to the V8 era. I particularly like this sort of creamy one. I think that's a lovely colour. Upstairs there are fashion exhibits, and that varies from time to time. This one happens to be wearable art, and yeah, very strange art too. But we're going to have a peek over in this corner, past the Model K. 1907 6-cylinder. That's a beast and a half. I've got very pretty early Ford Thunderbird. One of those drove past me just the other day. I was quite shocked. Ford Fairlane there, and whatever that is, Galaxy. Of course, it's a Galaxy. Ooh, and they've got a piano here. Talented? Oh, I don't know about that. Very nice, little baby grand. Yeah, look at those rocket rear lights. Very much of their time. Oh, there's a lineup down here I didn't even know was here. REOs. I found an REO Speedwagon. We'll have to go and look at that. An Atterbury. Very early. No idea what that is. Oh, an International High Wheeler from 1912. I'm guessing some of these perhaps aren't quite so roadworthy. Oh, that's a Kohler. The Does Go, I think, originally had a Kohler engine. Nice Ford Model A, a Model B. And yeah, more Fords going on down here with an Oldsmobile at the end. Yeah, it's just in a residential area, really, which is quite nice. So if it feels I'm rushing a bit, that's because I am. They've got over 300 exhibits here, and trying to see them all will be tricky. Now, there are a lot of commercial vehicles here, not all of them brilliantly well lit, because Bill was in the haulage business. Southern was one of his truck brands, and is that a Kenworth? It is a Kenworth. T950, that is that's a beast, and there's still a lot of these plying their trade. You see them about 1994. It's not quite as old as it may look. Double pantograph wipers, stone guard at the bottom there, and what's that, an autocar, 1915. That's very lovely. But if we go past these trucks here, sneak through the gap, it's still a family company that owns and runs this museum. There's been a bit of a generation skip though. It was originally Bill. Son Harold tragically died in an accident. So his daughter Josh took it on, and her husband Scott is into his race cars. So we've got a few examples here, including what looks like a Ford Telstar, driven by Paul Radisich, who also drove in the British Touring Cars Championships in the Mondeo. Big old Ford here. Huge Mac. Seen quite a lot of these with a double front axle. Quite like this Hino or Hino. I'm not sure if it's Hino or Hino. I've always said Hino. And yeah, Joss is quite into her pedal cars. So there are quite a few of those dotted around. Love this old Comma. What engine has it got? Roots. Yes, it has got the 2-stroke 3-cylinder diesel engine, which is supercharged. Just see a hint of it right there. And it's supercharged because I think on the 2-stroke diesels they need that pressure on the inlet side in order to actually run. So I think it's pretty much impossible to have one without a supercharger. I just don't think it would work. Big old Volvo. Lovely to see. I've seen some of those still working here. And these bonneted Mercs as well. Lovely Bedford OWB. So very familiar with the front end, but I think a locally produced body, I would say, at a guess. Oh, school bus, tour bus. Blimey. Yeah, it doesn't seem to say who built the body, but that's quite nice. It's not quite as nice as the very pretty OB coaches we got in the UK, but I certainly would not call it unpleasant. A big old truck engine right here. All of the turbo. That's a Volvo engine. Whoosh. Oh, it doesn't spin. That's disappointing. Yeah, over here, big old Leyland. I think that was originally a Guy design, maybe. Or maybe I'm just making that up. Detroit V8 diesel. War. Nissan diesel here with some impressive triple wiper action. Buick Series 40 convertible straight 8 engine, and the first of what we see as unrestored vehicles. Not everything here is super shiny. Some of the stuff is pretty much as it came out of service, and it has to be said some of these have not been on the road for a while. 2000, 1999. Yeah, they haven't seen use quite so recently. Are probably subjects for future restoration, at a guess. Enormous Mac here. Got a 16.4 litre V8 engine. Gosh. An International. Always seem very simple on the styling, the Internationals. And a Fargo. Never even heard of a Fargo. But the next generation down, so the grandchildren, one of them is into his Minis. Another is into his Citroens, which is pleasing. So we'll see some Citroens in a bit. Mercedes, Foden, with only 2 of its triple wipers pointing up. Slightly confused. An ERF Deer Hunter. Apparently that was quite a big thing here, the ERF Deer Hunter. The Austin Mastiff, with a cab that was also used on Leyland, I think. Albion badges were applied to some of those as well. More pantograph wiper action. They're just lovely. Nice Bedford Comma. Look at these. Quite a modern cab design for the 1970s, I think. Ooh, 318 V8. Nice. Big Bedford and a big Ford. Yeah, trucks take up quite a lot of space. But along here we've got a racing Mini. It's used for a charity run, the Pork Pie Run, which is linked. We saw Goodbye Pork Pie Mini at Horapito Motors. Here's a recreation, because apparently they made a modern one with modern minis, and that's what this little area is all about. I don't know why they do such things, to be honest. The Italian Job remake wasn't exactly wonderful, was it? We'll go up the stairs, I think, and see what's up there. No museum is complete without quite a lot of tat. The point has been made that Kiwis never throw anything away, and I think that's largely true. We'll carry on our tour to see if we can find a typewriter. The lady did seem quite confused when I asked whether they have any typewriters here, but there must be one. There must! So yeah, quite a mix of trucks down there. We'll go and have a closer look in a bit, especially the Ford F100 pickups. Quite interesting wiper details to go into. But yeah, all these old tins, Tonka toys. Yeah. Even fridge freezers. So the collecting bug is definitely firmly established in this family. Aha! That looks like a Roots TS3 engine as fitted to that comma lorry. So let's see how we do with this one. We've got a big beefy supercharger to put the pressure on the intake system, and yeah, it's a 3-cylinder engine, but it's opposed pistons. So I guess those are the pistons there, and it's exactly the same on the other side. And the pistons come together, explosion happens, pushes them out, and then these rocker arms transfer the power to the crankshaft. So there's one crankshaft in the middle, and on both sides are these huge rocker arms that take the power to it. It's just the most bizarre system, really. Yeah, and the noise they make, utterly fabulous. Go now and search for Roots TS3 videos on YouTube. You will not regret it. Auto traction Minerva. Wow. It's got old axles sitting around as well, old doors. Oh, Ford D series, which means some mild pantographic effect going on. Oh, look at that. Lovely condition again, unrestored. AEC Mammoth Major. I always love these Atkinson cabs with the curved windows. I thought they were a very attractive design. One wiper up, one wiper down. More futuristic Atkinson. Was that fiberglass cab? Ah. Okay, so it's had a cab change, which is maybe why it doesn't all fit quite perfectly. The cab's disintegrated here, the original ones. It's quite interesting. Oh, Morris Pear, Thames Trader, big old Dodge at the end. These very strange Mercs with the big sticky out bonnets. See quite a lot of these in Europe still. And then Oshkosh, it's an American truck manufacturer. Builds some very impressive military vehicles. Oh, this one looks a bit sad for some reason, I'm not sure why. Cheer up. The old Frupney bit cab with the doors on the back of the cab. I always watched them to see if the wipers would meet in the middle, but somehow they never did. This one's got some quite bad scratching. Little Bedford. By Bedford's truck standards, it's little anyway. Yeah, there's a size comparison for you. Fiat 500 Nuova, with the even more Nuova 500. Nice 1982 2CV. Seems to have some nice original features. It would have had the grey indicator surrounds from new. The paint isn't new, original rather. It's got the twiddly knob dashboard, which you can't really see. That's not an original factory paint colour or colours, but very pleasant nonetheless. We've got a slow built Citroen Big 15. They're quite nice. Well, that's one thing to do with them, I suppose. Ah, dub boxes. Oh, designed in Herefordshire. Yeah, well, they're quite smart. I like that. Much more practical than the real thing. But there's a splitty, there's a splitty, there's a splitty, and here's a different kind of splitty. And BMW setter. Lovely. So that's not one of the 12 that were sold here new, because they were right-hand drive. And another one over here. And some Motorma bikes. I believe those are BMWs. This is a recreation of Bill's original workshop. So, I mean, it all looks fairly fresh, but the family home isn't far away. So this has been created here. This is an International he was working on when he passed away. And it's still sat here, still waiting his attention. But yeah, lovely. Get a feel for the man. He was just living the petrol head dream. And some old stuff. Apparently when his daughter went to London, she would send records and stuff back. So some items have been added, and some of it was sent from a homesick daughter. There's a cinema where you can go and watch various films, but we need to go this way. It's a bit of a rabbit warren, this place. There's all sorts of places to check out, more pumps. But really I'm here to talk about these trucks, but we'll just have a look at the Scammell mechanical horse. Scarab there. Funky things. So yeah, the Ford 100, this is a 1955. Has sensible wipers for, obviously, for right-hand drive. But the 53, I noticed, still has the wiper spindles offset for left-hand drive. So they've changed the wipers over, but they don't do an awfully good job of clearing the screen here. I mean, it's lots of scratches as well, but that is a mighty corner of disappointment going on there. And if you care about such matters like I do, you know, that's a key consideration. Some British Bedfords. Fine collection of them. Big old GMC 4x4, that's a beast and a half. Needs quite a lot of drip trays, and it's still missing them. Joys of old trucks. That I would like to drive just as it is. 1936 Federal. Alright, some plenty of Fordsons on this trip. Let's see what else we can find. Well, I've got a telly yakking away behind me, but some Richardson trucks. Fords in this case. I've got a thing for Fords, I think. There is a cab of a DAF CF, and you can go in it, so I think we rather should, really. The windscreen is not there. I've ever sat in the cab of one of these. There we go. So yeah, it just feels like I'm in a slammed DAF. Where's the gear lever? What's going on? I mean, there's your handbrake. Only 2 pedals, that might be a clue. Extra comfort. Double bunk as well. It's even got an escape hatch. We've got a very early Mac there. When does that date from? 1918. Got chain drive on the back, just like the old steam wagons. Diamond T. Didn't know they made fairly small ones. Another impressive tanker. More REOs. There we go. Heavy duty REO Speedwagon gave its name to a band. Apparently this International was Bill's first truck when he started his collection, and the 2 cars behind, these were the last vehicles Bill owned, F-150s, unusual to see them in right-hand drive form. He did own this one, but then needed something for kiddie hauling, and apparently putting them in the back wasn't recommended, so we bought a crew cab one, although that still doesn't look overly generous in terms of rear space. Nonetheless, I can just about see two tiny seats in there, so those were his last vehicles. And yeah, I was just trying to remember, I think it was that one at the back, the two Southerns, were how Bill started his collection. Look at this for a curious thing. So obviously had a lot of love for internationals as well. So despite the fact this is labelled up with Southern Transport, which was his company name, he wasn't in business in 1938. Look at that for curious. Took a while to work out how to package forward control trucks, didn't it? That's amazing. Now these older vehicles are part of a collection that was bequeathed, and apparently they were all in pretty ropey condition and have since been restored, but look how rudimentary the early bodies were. So Graham Brothers. I like the fact there's clearly just a video of truck engines playing somewhere. Look at this early Pierce Arrow, 1912. That one's for you, Simon. Simon, my friend, who has two Pierce Arrows. And if we go into this area, this is probably my favourite, because these are the trucks awaiting their time, or as I prefer to think of it, not awaiting their time. They're just being preserved in the condition they were in. There's some beautiful artwork, and these do become a bit of an issue, because, you know, I would love for this 1928 Willys Knight to never be restored, but can you actually drive it around like that? I'm not sure. And 1919 Faguel, well, donated from California. So rudimentary. Studebaker there. Seen a few Studies on this trip already. The American stuff was developed for places where there were minimal roads and long distances to cover, so they were kind of ideal for here. More minis, one of the grandson collections, but still taxed. Oh yeah, and I remember about the F-150s we just saw. The modern ones, apparently the family still use those if they're in the area, which is quite nice. Look at that. Oh, it's got a separate little auxiliary engine for powering all this stuff at the back. Interesting. So it comes down the jack shaft, got a belt switching through 90 degrees to power all this gubbins at the back. Amazing. And a random bust. Who doesn't love a random bust? And here's the workshop where they're still working on vehicles. That looks like a very late, possibly one of the last Volkswagen T2s made in Brazil or Mexico or wherever. There's a Ford popcorn wagon there, Volkswagen variant. They're cleaning up but not restoring. You just see odd patches of touched up paint on it, but that's all fine. Love it. And I think that splitty camper down there is a recent addition as well. And all of a sudden we find a pair of hydraulic Citroens, an SM and a DS, and I'm pleased to report we both have current rego. After all, you don't want to leave a hydraulic Citroen sitting around too long, they don't like it. This one has an interesting combination of the correct wiper and a slightly different type. Yeah, I love these little side pin mounts, very sweet. And it's full semi-automatic gearbox as well. And another Fargo. Well, this is the Vintage Vault. Singer sewing machines. The old treadle pedal. Oh, he bought it for his daughter when she got married. How sweet. If rather of its time. Wow. That's one heck of an outfit. Telephones, heated hair rollers. Oh, I remember those. The shower heads you used to attach to your taps and they would invariably come off and spray water everywhere. Original lethal roller skates. Friends had those when I was a child. Oh, thank goodness. Here we go. I was worried it wasn't a proper museum, but we found a typewriter, so it's okay. The Calendar Girls of Leyland Motors. Well, at least they kept the clothes on. Another lovely Ford V8, I think. Very nice. Restored Cadbury truck. Apparently Cadbury have closed down their operations here, as they have at various places in the UK as well. That's a nice little area, albeit not superbly lit. I think this one's worthy of some interest because, for a start, look at the overhang. Enormous, but it's a Nissan 2-stroke diesel. Called the Jumbo. Nice big exhaust on it. That's a big old truck. It was actually restored by Nissan itself before being donated to the museum in 1993. We'll just quickly take in this haul of tractors, because I know some of you like your tractors. Whoa, that's a big old thing. So yeah, all the sheds are named after people who have been involved with the museum over the years. There's another Land's Bulldog, where they go boom, 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 boom. There's a Seddon, before Seddon and Atkinson merged. We've got Chamberlain, made in Australia. Blimey, that's intriguing. Yeah, that's interesting. Chrysler Airflow, I think. I don't have any information about it, unfortunately. Wow, another Chamberlain there as well. Let's see if we find out more about this one. 2-cylinder, produces 40 horsepower. Oh, I see, it's a horizontally opposed engine. It's a flat twin, just like a 2CV. Oh, this is quite a nice rural setting here. Definitely no smoking after 4 PM. Yes, quite right, limit yourself to early afternoon, it's the best way to be. Yeah, it's a nice mix of beautifully restored and not so much. That's good to see. Because steam engine at the back, but look at it, or is it an early oil engine? Early oil engine, more stationary engines. There is quite a lot of stuff here, as you can quite easily see. Yeah, quite the place. Monk Tills. So that is it from Bill Richardson Transport World. Yeah, very impressive museum, well worth checking out, I would say. So I shall say thank you very much to Bill Richardson Transport World for allowing me to come in and have a nose around at their stuff, and yeah, really detailed look at some of the stuff. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll go and have a look at the motorbikes perhaps for a little bit of bonus footage. But otherwise, I shall say thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Well, here we are in the motorcycle building, an entirely separate building. Don't really know where to start. Yep, the old Breath Superior, the Rolls Royce of motorbikes. Lots of construction work going on at the moment. Gosh, early Indians. You can't really come to Invercargill and not look at Indians. Excelsior there. Oh, we get some cars after all. Little Morgan, 1933 with the sliding pillar suspension that they still use to this day on some models. And a little Messerschmitt KR200. Another Morgan, this time with a Jap engine. Motorbikes. We're allowed up there? It's hard to tell, it's all covered in stuff. Yeah, they're just extending this building so they can take up a third floor. Zundap made a very interesting microcar. And a Vespa with sidecar. They're only 150cc, not very quick. Remarkable Benelli. Look, that is a 750cc transverse 6-cylinder engine on the motorbike. Doesn't seem a very sensible idea really, but nonetheless that's what they did. Velocette, Nortons are getting a bit racy now. You're just going to have to pause on your favourites, aren't you? See what I'm looking at. Very early Harley, 1915. Okay, this one's interesting because this has a rotary engine. Suzuki's short-lived attempt to make a Vankel work on a motorbike. 6,000 built in 2 years. I wonder how many are still actually running. A little Kiwi bike. There's a sense of scale. That's my hand. It's amazing. Apparently it's capable of 50 miles an hour. That is distinctly unusual. (1908) Triumph. Back when they just had direct drive, so there's no gearbox. Just straight off the crankshaft. And must be quite exciting to ride. Yeah, it's quite a decent size. Time for some hot scooter action. Oh wow, Henkel Tourist. Is that our friendly old Square 4? It is. Yeah, they're all definitely motorbikes, I would say. Well, they didn't tell me the motorbike world was quite so interesting. Wow. So that has got a gearbox. Flat twin engine mounted longitudinally. Or does that make it transverse? No clutch or brakes, ridden full throttle. A recreation of the Bertram Streamliner. His 1920 Indian Scout used a body like that. See if we can find the original while we're here. New Zealand built. Britons. An amusing name then, really, but spelled differently. There you go, bonus bikes.